UFC 253 Israel, the Last Stylebender, Adesanya, aka the Black Dragon, versus Paulo, the Eraser, Borrachinha. Wait, actually, you got a new nickname now, huh? Nah, we gotta run that back. Sorry, can't do my mans like that. Versus Paulo, the king of biatches himself. Yes, you heard that correctly. Costa. Oh, man. Y'all boys. I can't even possibly begin to explain how much I've been patiently waiting and anticipate what's about to get shaken. Bars. This Saturday night on Fight Island, UFC Middleweight Championship is on the line. Someone's always got to go. Somebody's zip has got to dip. Okay, this is not a fucking game, people. No. First of all, hello, how you doing? Greetings and salutations. Welcome to the first official edition of the brand new Crystal Ball series, where we're going to try to do our best Conor McGregor impersonation and predict just exactly how these fights are going to play out, according to our crystal ball, of course. Now, I already do this on a damn near weekly basis anyways when I'm placing my parlays, you feel me? I basically watch every single card because I'm such an MMA fiend. I love this shit, so I figured, hey, why not turn this thing into a series? And here we fucking go. It's gonna be very interesting to look back and see just exactly how wrong I was with all of my predictions. Nah, I'm just clowning my boys. We're gonna crush this shit. Don't worry about it. Let me grab the wheel. I got you. By the way, if you're new here, which you kind of have to be because this is the first episode, got him. Please consider hitting that 12 to 6 elbow. That's the forbidden move. On that subscribe button as hard as you possibly can. Also, while you're at it, ring that bell icon right next door. Might as well pay the neighbors a visit while you're in town. You feel me? Check up on them. See how they doing. It's crazy times out there. But anyways, we lit. I look like shit. I barely sleep, but I dream often. Ain't nothing new here. You feel me? But other than that, let me shut the fuck up and let's finally break this shit down, y'all boys. We are just one night away. It's going down. I just got done watching all the embeddeds and the countdowns and the, oh my god. This fight cannot come soon enough. Okay, this water's been boiling for a hot ass minute. Shit damn near evaporated by now. These boys been waiting to kill each other for like 2 years now. No fitted cap. We heard all the trash talk, the back and forth, you feel me? He's so skinny. When he feel my punches on his skinny rib, I will broke him. This one for me, this one's personal, yeah, boys. I ain't even gonna lie. This one is very close to home, okay? My boy, my man's my dog, Israel Adesanya, my personal favorite fighter of all time. So yeah, let's get that out the way early. You know what I'm saying? Let's clear the air. There may or may not be just a tad bit of bias here on behalf of my boy Izzy, because, you know, emoji. But don't get it twisted. We keep shit very G over here, okay? We pull no punches back. We just roll with them. Bars. And honestly, I was surprisingly very late on Izzy. Actually, the first time I ever even watched him compete was against Brad Tavares. And even just as soon as I heard his name, the Last Stylebender, I mean, he instantly gained a supporter in me because, you know, I mean, come on. You feel me? But then I proceeded to witness him absolutely pick Tavares apart. I mean, lit him up and won the decision. But the point is, it was right then and there, ever since that moment, I knew, man, this dude is different. So before I even heard dude speak, just his style alone already had me. But then, of course, you know, I had to go back and do my homework, and holy shit. So I went back, watched all his fights, kickboxing and MMA, watched all his interviews, heard his story. I was like, yeah, he got the GOAT stamp for me. already. And here he is already just 2 years into the UFC, already defending his belt against none other than the king of biatches himself. You know, I think of this fight as kind of like order versus chaos. You know what I mean? Costa is very chaotic with his striking. I mean, he uses very basic techniques, don't get me wrong. However, it is the aggression and tenacity at which those techniques are applied where the chaos actually comes in. You feel me? Just swinging everything at you from all different directions with all that testosterone and only he knows what else. Exploding like a clue tape whenever he finds his opportunities, which is important to know here, by the way, when he finds his opportunities, because yes, he is a pressure fighter, of course. This ability to also be patient in his attack is something I feel he can actually use to his advantage in this fight. We all know what Izzy's going to try to do, you know what I'm saying? He's gonna look to counter for the most part, obviously trying to look to catch Costa overextended where he's most vulnerable, which is definitely going to be easier said than done, of course. So it's kind of hard to have a hot take in this one. It's pretty obvious what both fighters are looking to do. That's why everyone's kind of echoing the same things, you know what I mean? But if Costa were to actually take a page out of Joel Romero's book, you know, the standing statue of death or whatever the fuck, whatever he was doing that night. We've heard it with Floyd Mayweather forever, just as now we're hearing it with Izzy. I'm sorry, I just never understood how two men can be locked in a cage together and people are saying that one of them's running. That seems foolish to me. Basically, to me, all you're saying is Romero wasn't aggressive or skilled enough to catch Izzy. You call it running, I call it being evasive. It's not like Izzy can jump out the cage or something. So if Romero or Costa or whoever can't catch whoever, you need to probably learn how to, you know, cut the cage off or something. You know, trap your opponents better. So you're telling me if you were built like Izzy and fighting Yoel Romero, your game plan would really be to stand there and trade with him? Thus relinquishing all of your advantages and most likely not to mention the L as well? Know what I tell you? Good fucking luck. Even Joe Rogan himself immediately after the Romero fight said that that was the only way that Izzy could have and should have fought Romero. So don't just take my word for it. Listen to Joe. So yeah, I just had to get that out the way. So where were we now? If Costa can apply Romero's stolen statue theory that he used against Izzy in their fight, I think that would be smart of Costa in this one. Now, I'm not saying Costa should stand there and straight up have a staring contest with Izzy, of course. But the point is, if Costa were to keep that same constant pressure per usual, however, at the same damn time being super selective with his shots, maybe even throwing some feints Izzy's way in an attempt to throw him off, could benefit Costa greatly. Even Izzy himself said that when Joel transformed into the steel statue of destruction, he said, and I quote, "Sometimes you have to throw something at your opponents to throw them off, you know? Show them something they'd never seen before." And when Joel was doing the mannequin challenge on him, he said it was something he'd never seen before, thus effectively throwing him off to an extent. Now, do I think Costa is actually capable of taking this approach? Surprisingly, yes. I do. I mean, of course, he can go the complete opposite way as well. He can just absolutely empty the clip as soon as he even thinks he has Adesanya hurt. But I don't think so. I actually tend to believe this will be the most patient Costa we've seen yet. That's probably the hottest take you could even have in this fight, considering how straightforward this matchup really is. I'm pretty sure neither Izzy nor Costa thus far has ever even attempted a takedown in their careers. And for a combined 32 fights, that is absolutely nuts. I could be wrong about Costa, but we all know damn well Izzy's not going to try to take this fight to the ground at all. If anything, it will be Costa doing the shooting. But something Costa said in one of his recent interviews was very interesting to me. He was making it a point to say that he would not chase Izzy around the cage. Instead, he would cut him off and meet Izzy at the spot. And while you can't always take these fighters at their word during the lead-ups, because obviously anything can happen in a fight. And you can have a game plan all you want, but as the famous quote goes, everyone has a game plan until they get socked in the mouth. However, if you look at the history, Costa has actually proven this to be true. He is actually very good at cutting his opponents off. Since he is usually the aggressor, his opponent is often forced to fight off their back foot, thus playing the matador to Costa's bull. But Costa rarely does follow them. He actually does know how to trap his opponents and kind of use the cage as like his little sidekick or some shit. So yes, he has shown to be patient in the past. However, overall he is very chaotic and marauding with his style. But then there's the Stylebender, who amongst all that chaos that surrounds him in that octagon always somehow finds a way to neutralize his opponent's aggression with superior head movement and just straight up putting dudes in the matrix. Pretty much seeing everything they're doing in slow motion. He hits that flow state way before he even steps foot in that cage. So that allows him to make those fast-paced reads in real time right before our very eyes. We all saw what he did to Brunson with that perfectly timed knee that was just a work of art. This ability to just basically spidey sense whatever his opponent is trying to do is what gives him that sense of control or order amongst the chaos, if you will. The ability to think and see clearly in highly stressful situations like, I don't know, someone built like a brick shit house trying to literally separate you from your consciousness, in my opinion, is the best weapon in Izzy's vast arsenal, and against someone like Costa, I think would really give Izzy an opportunity to optimize that weapon like he just attached a COD scope or some shit. Like, of course, he has a plethora of beautiful techniques at his disposal, but what separates him and fighters like him from the bunch is their mentality. I've always been drawn to fighters who appreciate the spiritual side of things, you know? You think of dudes like GSP, John Jones, shit, even the legend himself, Diego Sanchez, sharing this very card, by the way. Gotta love that, man. I always feel like those guys usually end up in that top 1%. Basically, think of it like this. If you ever learn that a fighter is into something like anime, just consider that fighter spiritually on another level. Just trust me on that, okay? I feel as though, personally, the power of the spirit in a fighter doesn't nearly get mentioned enough. I mean, we could sit here and talk techniques all day, but I mean, if you connect clean with your opponent's jaw, it's pretty much game over, right? But really, it's that connection with the universe that I really feel can make a difference in this one. It's like the law of attraction thing, right? The universe does respond to certain energies. And so far from what we've seen, Izzy's connection with the universe seems to be pretty strong. If you ask me, it seems like everything he says eventually does happen. So with all that being said, you can see where this all becomes very, very interesting. In one corner, we have one of the most marauding, aggressive, and hardest hitting strikers in the UFC, which is Costa. However, on the other corner, you have one of the most technical strikers in all of UFC history. And that is also a fact. Now, when those two worlds collide, which one of those facts will be more? I have no idea. Really, no one has the answer to that question just yet, but that's why those boys have a date. And we have a crystal ball. So how exactly do I see this thing playing out? I've already seen it. It's already taken place. I already know the outcome. Do you trust me? Do you trust me? I don't blame you. I wouldn't either. It's alright. Don't worry about it. I'm going to try to be as specific and descriptive as I possibly can. But yeah, as I said, it's a little difficult to have a hot take here. But quickly, before we get into each and every detail, there are just a few things that I feel like I can just kind of throw out into the air. First off, Izzy cannot, I repeat, cannot throw naked leg kicks in this fight. He can't do it. He needs to set those up, you know, punch first, at least throw a feint out there. Something. But I think that is one of the most important things for Izzy. No naked leg kicks. Also, a small thing that I noticed, pretty obvious, but hey, small adjustments like this can really have huge implications. So for example, when Izzy got dropped by Gaslam, and I know his ass technically never touched the ground, but you catch my drift. So when Gaslam caught him with that huge hook, Izzy was going backwards in a straight line, which allowed Gaslam to easier locate that chin. And honestly, he didn't even connect all that clean with the knuckles, but as we saw, especially catching Izzy off balance, it was still very effective. But in the Whittaker fight, you can really see the adjustments pretty much dropping Whittaker the exact same way twice. And if you notice that time when Whittaker was rushing in with those hooks and overhands, you see Izzy actually step off to the side on an angle, and that's when he caught Whittaker with that beautiful counter. Also, against the statue of Cuban Romero, Izzy himself acknowledged the mistake he made attacking Joel in a straight line and then caught that clean Cuban missile in the first round. My boy Izzy had to blink that one out a little bit, you feel me? Now, he obviously learned some things and made his adjustments along the way. And also, don't forget, of course, my man Izzy is going to be trying to kick him in the face. A lot. Even if he's not collecting clean, even if it's just landing on Costa's guard, it benefits Izzy. You don't want to be catching those Bruce Lee kicks to the arm all day. That is going to break your guard down. I don't care how much juice is running through. Some other things to consider here. We really just don't know to what extent Costa's skill set really goes. I mean, the man is only 13-0 and already getting a title shot. Not that common. We truly may not have seen everything this man is capable of. I mean, I saw him throw a spinning wheel kick in one fight, and I wasn't even expecting to see that when I saw it, to be honest. So yeah, those are just some random takeaways. Let's finally get into this shit round by round. Round 1, I think, is going to be Costa's best round. I do see him having some success early. Of course, I see him coming forward, being his usual aggressive self. However, I do see him applying that standing statue of death and being just a little more patient than you might expect. This will throw Izzy off at first. He might get caught with some bangs, okay? But ultimately, if Costa is being more patient, that would allow Izzy to work and get his shit off as well. You know, the jabs, the traps, the feints, whatever have you. So in between Costa's flurries, when he's not just unloading, when he's maybe resting or idle, I see Izzy popping that jab out there, constantly probing with those feints. Those lethal leg kicks will be in effect. Teeps and roundhouse kicks to the body, just picking his shots with a little more emphasis on the body. While also, of course, trying to get off the center line, cut angles, and catch Costa as he's coming in with one of those fish hooks he be throwing. Costa might even very well take this round, and going to the body will be a huge key for Costa as well. Especially being that Izzy's probably expecting him to headhunt like most of Izzy's previous opponents have. However, I feel as though Izzy will download all of the info Costa gives him in round 1 and apply all of that information he just learned in round 2. Round 2, I see Costa becoming a bit more apprehensive as he becomes frustrated with Izzy's, running issue. And possibly deviating from the stone statue game plan just a little bit. I see him possibly becoming a bit more impatient, which would naturally activate that instinct to just obliterate whatever lies ahead, like Thanos with the glove. Once this happens, this is where Izzy is truly going to shine. Just constantly using that footwork, that head movement, like we said, those feints just to keep Costa guessing and ultimately having more success than the first round. All the while, Costa's going to be whiffing strikes and slowly but surely start fading away into the sunken place. Round 3, I see Costa's gas meter steadily approaching E, similar to what we saw in the OL fight. However, this one's against the Stylebender. And it's a 5-rounder. Costa's first 5-round fight. Let's not forget about that here. That is a huge key. That means Costa himself is not even 100% sure just how much he got in that gas tank over 5 rounds. We've seen Izzy go a hard 5 in last year's fight of the year, mind you, versus Kelvin the Demon Gaslam. So I definitely see Izzy being the fresher fighter going into this 3rd round, which I personally believe will be the final round of this fight. I believe throughout the fight, as Izzy is peppering Costa with those jabs and softening the body with those kicks, he will eventually get Costa dropping those hands, and here we fucking go. Boom, straight shin to the dome piece. It's gonna be amazing. I think we're gonna see the most beautiful question mark kick KO in all of combat sports history. I'm calling it right here, right now. You heard it here first. My boy Izzy, 3rd round's gonna put an exclamation point on a question mark kick for the greatest highlight you've ever seen in your entire life. But there you have it. And remember, these are our predictions here, okay? Not just mine. You get a say in this too. That's why there's a comment section down below. I want to hear your thoughts. Let me know how you really feel. We will be back here immediately after the fight. That will be happening. So if you watch this video and then go watch my vision come to fruition, you make sure you come back here so I can tell you that I told you, okay? MMA chill. No? Okay. By the way, I don't know if you noticed, but we got big B's in the back, you feel me? Large trust all day. Hey, might even have some NFL content on the channel soon, you know what I mean? Who knows? Who knows? I don't. Maybe I do. Anyways, I will see y'all at the fights. We will be in the building. Well, not really in the building, but you know what I mean. Y'all be good, my boys. Until next time. Deuces. See ya.